And now, ladies and gentlemen, right to your host of this House of Musicians, Barry Smith.
Hey, welcome, fine listener, to this House of Musicians radio show on Reality Radio 101. We hope you enjoy the next hour with us as we do our small part to help promote musicians, bands, and venues. Gary Labar, how are you this evening,
I'm
sir?
fine, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing quite well. I'm very excited with our guest this evening. She has been performing for many, many years. She has an amazing, her and her partners have an amazing tribute to Heart band that people can view on YouTube, and she does a lot of her own songwriting as well, and she has a great solo career. And we have the lovely Valerie Shearman. Valerie, how are you tonight?
Thank you so much, Barry. I love that intro. Thank you very much.
You're
feel
welcome.
Great. I feel wonderful.
Yeah,
always feel good.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. And like I told the listener here when we started, that you've been in the music business for such a long time now. But I wanna go back before. I know that when you were 9, you started playing guitar and even scratching out your first songs. But let's go back even maybe a little before that, how you were influenced by music. I always start off the show by asking the artist how they were influenced, maybe who you were listening to, and did your big brother have an album collection? Were your parents musicians? Just curious to know how you were influenced by music and who you were listening to.
Well, that's funny that you say that. When I grew up, I was actually in a foster home. I actually came from Calgary, Alberta, and me and my 2 brothers were separated when we were young. And I was put into a foster home. I actually was from downtown Toronto. We were basically on the streets. I was picked up by the Tilton Xavier, all separated out. And I ended up going up to North York. Yeah, it was kind of weird. And I get into this house, and I thought it was in a mansion. The whole family were guitar and piano teachers. So they were very musical already, the family that I live with.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
They bought me my first guitar at 9. It was a Kent 12-string guitar.
Wow.
Yeah, go figure, eh? So I love that guitar. Yeah.
You learned on a 12-string?
I did, yeah, a 12-string Kent. And my brothers, all 3 of my foster brothers, were guitar teachers. And my foster mother was a piano teacher, so there's always music and singing going on in the house. So I gotta say that's about my earliest, immersion into music was being around this house constantly hearing guitars and pianos daily with other students coming and going. And I thought, you know what, I want to do that. So I kind of missed that. I really wanted to also play piano, but I didn't. I just kept up the guitar, you know what I mean? Because it was cooler back then to play a guitar than it was a piano, right?
Yeah.
So I learned on the guitar. Yeah, I started by learning like C, F, and G, and then they kind of graduated me to different chords in the scale of all the chords of the guitar, and it was fun. And then they kind of left me alone, and I was creating songs on my own. I was listening to like Janis Joplin and like Doobie Brothers, you name it. I was really influenced by a lot of those, some pop too, pop artists as well I was influenced by. But primarily all the rock artists, Gordon Lightfoot, people like that. I really loved harmonies. And, it was amazing how many songs you could create with 4 or 5 chords. It's amazing, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I basically learned that.
Absolutely, yeah. You only need to know 3, 4, 5 chords, and oh boy, you can almost play every song pretty much. How cool was it to be, come into a foster home where everybody's a musician? I mean, that is, and like you said, you thought it was a mansion when they took you in. That is just so incredible. Cahoots to those folks that did that for you. I mean, really, Valerie, that's just incredible.
And I still see that family. There's a very large family. There's got to be 60 of them, and I still see them every year. We get together for Christmas. Never missed a year. You know, that was
Bless
my
them.
family. You know.
Absolutely bless them for bringing you in, and now look at the amazing career you've had. I want to ask you this: you learned on a 12-string. I can't imagine how easy a 6-string felt when you went to the 6-string, or when you tried your first 6-string.
It felt really weird because it felt like the strings were so far apart. You know,
Right.
I get the accordion. Wow, I thought. And then when they handed me a classical guitar, it was even worse, right? Well, whoa, it's really far apart. I really kind of like the thinner neck. But I never really did get into doing leads. It was just rhythm and just enough to write songs. So when I got into bands later, they took over, and I just played rhythm acoustic, you know, with the
Of course. Sure.
You know,
and
as whole.
Absolutely. So here you are, you're 9 years old, you're learning how to play guitar, you're even scratching out some of your own songs at that time. Talk to me, tell me the first time you played live in front of people and what that was like.
Oh boy, that was really scary. And at high school, I always played at all the, you know how you had those assemblies, those kind of things?
Yeah.
So I met a girl, a friend of mine in school, and she was a great singer, and she taught me how to do harmony. She said, you know, we should do some songs together. She wanted to be part of my little solo show. And I said, sure. So we sang like Bridge Over Troubled Waters and, you know, things like that. Did some Janis Joplin and songs like that were, you know, we would harmonize together, and people just loved it. So I was actually picked up, the two of us actually, me playing guitar and her and I singing harmonies with the Oral Arts Festival of Ontario. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Produced by Terry Shields.
Terry Shields, yeah. So he came to the assembly, I guess, one day, and they said, we want to hear Valerie and Joanne play, you know, in the assembly. And they grabbed me, and we went on tour for 2 years with the Oral Arts Festival, going to all these high schools and playing in this show that they had. It was oral and some, you know, piano and some guitars, but it was an actual show they put together. There were skits, like acting as well. But it was all oral arts. So, and it was sponsored by the government. And I did that for 2 years. I loved it. I got a lot of stage experience. Sure. And how to sing in front of people. Because I was petrified. My knees would be knocking. If you knew me back then, you could actually hear my knees a knocking, man.
And how old would you have been at that time?
Oh, I was about 15.
Cool.
15. You know, 14, 15. It was scary, but, and we took a nursing course as well. So sometimes we'd actually go to rehearsal with our little nursing outfit on. It was kind of cool. I had pictures with myself with my little nursing hat on and my nursing uniform on. It was kind of cool. And a guitar in my, it was neat.
It's amazing how much you can absorb at that age too, as far as music goes.
Oh, you're so right, because you kind of lose that as you get older. You got to keep it up, right?
You have to do it every day for sure. And nowadays with the technology, geez, I'm seeing 8, 9, sometimes 5 and 6-year-old kids on YouTube playing the classical guitars and singing, and they're just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I know. It just freaks you out. I mean, some of these people get their kids involved at 3 years old, like playing a guitar or an instrument. And it's just so easy for them. Or playing the drums. Have you seen some of these kids get up and play the drums? It's like what? They can drum or guitar circles around us. Like, what the heck is going on? So it's a lot more open nowadays when you learn music. Back then it was really different. Like, they went by Mill Bay back then, but now you can just go to YouTube and go, okay, how could I play this song? And somebody's there doing a tutorial.
Yeah,
and that's a look at a book, you know?
Yeah, we used to have to put on vinyl and lift the needle up when we wanted to learn. It would take an hour to learn a lead, a 20-second lead. You have to lift the arm up on the vinyl and then put it back down back in the day. But now, like you say, you can just go to YouTube, and that's why there's so many talented musicians of all ages now, and that's one of the reasons why. I mean, you know, back in the day, there was very talented musicians too, but I think they may have worked a little harder to learn to learn leads and different instruments and stuff like that. So after you did the Oral Arts Festival, you were on tour for that for 2 years. What happened after that? Where'd you go from there?
Then I started just doing little duos and playing for family and friends, and because I still wasn't of age to go to the clubs. I mean, they had like Yorkville going on back then, so I'd go down to Yorkville and hang out. I was a little bit of a hippie, and back then. So yeah, you go down there and you can open up your guitar case, you play for money, that kind of thing. And I'd do all folk songs and some Janis Joplin, and I can't remember my set list to this day, like everything, but I remember I kept it pretty folky back then, because if you're just supporting yourself on guitar, you played pretty simple tunes back then, right? But you met a lot of people down there, you meet tons of musicians and share and do duos together and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, and I can't imagine the people that you've met and played with the lengthy career that you've had. That's amazing. Let's move ahead and talk about you married Buzz Shearman from Moxie. Let's move in and talk about that for a bit, because that was just a killer band. And they're still playing. I know you're still involved with Moxie. Let's talk about that a little bit. When you met Buzz and from there on.
Sure. Well, you know what? When I met Buzz, I actually started working at a health club, and it was called Vic Tanny's back then. So I was working there. I was pretty boss back then. I was like lifting weights and some pretty cool things and really good shape back then. So when I go downtown, it would be to go party at night, But I actually met Buzz at the Nob Hill Hotel. I was just finished working at Vic Tanny's at Eggleton and Brimley, and he was playing the Nob Hill right across the street. So friends dragged me out there one night, and I walk in, and I thought, oh, this guy's crazy, sweating. He must be on drugs or something. And meanwhile, he wasn't.
How cool is that you met at the Nob Hill? That is just too cool.
Yeah. Well, we just eyeballed each other that night, because I left before the band even finished, because I didn't know who they were, right? And I met him actually again later at the Piccadilly Tube. I don't know if you remember that.
Yep.
Right? Remember the Piccadilly Tube down at Yonge and Dundas? Anyway, I went down there a night after, and somebody said, oh, yeah, that band's playing again. I said, oh, that guy that sweats and everything? They said, yeah. They said, oh, yeah, their music's good. So I went there, and he actually came to me, saw me in the crowd, and came over and said hello that night on a break or something like that. And he drove me home. He said, hey, could I drive you home? And I didn't really know him at all, but I said, yes. He didn't seem like he was a killer or anything. I had seen him before. Anyhow, so that was the night I officially met him, was at the Piccadilly Tube. And we really hit it off as good friends to start, And
sure.
I had no idea. He was in Buzzsaw back then.
Buzzsaw, yep.
He was in a band called Buzzsaw. And so I guess when Moxie, they had a bit of a reprieve. You know how the musicians all take off and do their own thing for a while? And so when I met him, he had started Buzzsaw. And so when I saw him play that night, he was singing in the show. I can't remember all the guys in the band. I know it was his drummer played for me too a while back later. Anyway, Russell, and they were in a band called Buzzsaw. Some great songs. I don't know if any of your listeners know of Buzzsaw. I'd love to hear if anybody has their recorded music. I'm looking for it out there. It's really hard to find, but they were a great band, an awesome band too. Sure. How some of these gems that are out there, but I never could find any of the music after, when Buzz passed away, everything was on tape, so you lose that stuff. You don't carry all that stuff around. So he was in Buzzsaw when I met him the second time, but he was in Moxie the first time. So there was a little bit of time in between. So it was kind of cool. I didn't really know much about Moxie or Buzzsaw back then. I didn't really know who they were, but I started being a follower right away.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of cool. Yeah.
Yep. And you married and you had a son.
Yes, Jesse.
Awesome.
Yep. Yeah, we had a son, and he's he never even got into music. He's actually one of Toronto's best tattoo artists.
That's amazing.
He's got a shop called Red 9 Tattoos.
Have you gotten any tattoos from him?
No, not yet, but I am planning to get one. After all these years putting up with that zzz all the time, it drove me nuts.
Right. I guess was he practicing on pumpkins at home?
Well, no, he's actually practicing on all his friends.
Cool.
To this day, they're going, why did I let him practice? I had to redo some of those old tattoos. But he's one of Toronto's finest. He's got trophies all over the store. He's doing really, really well. He supports himself well with the tattoo business. And, he's doing really good.
Glad to hear that. I'm sure you're very proud of him, and it's great to hear that.
Yeah, I am.
You also worked at Arc Sound Records. You worked at Q107, A&M Records, and Jazz FM, and that really developed your knowledge for business, the music business. Let's talk about that for a little bit. What a great way to like I said, to learn the business.
Yeah, you know what? When Buzz passed away in that motorcycle accident, I knew about the music business. But because I was learning it with Buzz, because I watched what the guys did, and they were on the road, and they'd be gone, and I knew about they had to rent trucks and do all that stuff. But when Buzz passed away, the music business kind of rallied together because they knew I was a mom on a farm out in the Halton Hills, and they probably thought, hey, she probably needs a job, So they asked me to come and work for them, and I said, yeah, but I don't know anything about that side of the business. They said, we'll teach you. So the first place I went it's called A-Head Music, actually, which is governed by Arc Sound Records. So Arc Sound and A-Head are the same company. And I went there and started working in their quality department, which we do individual records, like smaller runs. So their little individual label there was called Precision Records. So I learned from the guys in Precision Records how to manufacture and do artwork. And that's where I met all these artists like Teenage Head, Messenger. I met so many great TikTok. I met all these bands then that I never even knew. That it was excellent. And I did all their manufacturing and artwork.
That's amazing. Good for you. And still part of the music business. So that's completely amazing. Valerie, what I want to do is play one of your songs, and then I want to come back and talk about it. And I have an email from somebody that I want to read to you. But first, let's play now, I believe this is a newer song then? Yeah,
this is from my last album, the one from last year.
Perfect.
And it's called,
Yeah, and you were working on this during, of course, the COVID times, with a lot of musicians kept themselves busy at home with home studios and whatnot, and writing songs. It was a blessing for that. Now, it really sucked that they couldn't get out and play and earn as much money, but they certainly indulged in a lot of music and whatnot. But let's play. And then I'm going to ask you also where you were and what you were doing when COVID struck and we all had to go home. But anyway, let's go ahead, folks. I have the lovely Valerie Shearman on the show this evening. We're going to play her song Broken from her latest album she recorded last year, right here on this House of Musicians radio show on Reality Radio 101.
Another day, another night, another unanswered prayer. Doesn't anybody hear me screaming inside? If time's a healer, it sure is taking its sweet time. How can I be strong when there's nothing left to hold on to. How can I move on when the song ain't even over yet? How can I be whole if everything around me is broken? Ooh, broken. It's easier for someone else to say tomorrow's another day, while I'm still trying to get through this one. And all the while the radio offers up no mercy, keeps playing that same song over and over. How can I be strong when there's nothing left to hold on to? How can I move on when the song ain't even over yet? How can I be whole if everything around me is broken? You caught me crying in the rain. My heart was broken. You caught me crying. You caught me crying. How can I be strong when there's nothing left to hold on to? How can I move on when the song ain't even over yet? How can I be whole if everything around me is broken? How can I be strong when there's nothing left to hold on to? How can I move on when the song ain't even over yet? How can I be whole if everything around me is broken? Ooh, I'm broken.
Hey, welcome back, fine listeners. We have the wonderful Valerie Shearman on the show this evening. We just heard her song Broken. Before I ask you about the song, let me just say this. Gary Labar, our producer, has a band called Walker's K, and the first thing I thought about was Walker's K. Such similar music. Gary, your thoughts?
I'm in love with her.
What a great song.
Valerie,
Thank you.
that music is so commercial and so produced well, and amazing harmonies. Yeah, that's my kind of thing, man. I love it. Thank you,
Yeah.
Barry, for that.
No,
Awesome.
Valerie, when you get off of here later, just Walker's K-C-A-Y, go check it out on YouTube. Exact same style, that classic kind of hair band, classic kind of song. Now, Valerie, you wrote Broken?
Actually, no, I didn't. I didn't write Broken. A friend of mine wrote it because back then I was just looking for some quick music. Rick McHugh is a great songwriter. I don't know if you know Rick McHugh. He's just a songwriter, but he does kind of singer-songwriter stuff. And I have a horse rescue, and I needed a song that would depict horses that go to slaughter. So he had a song called Broken, and that depicts how people feel. And I said, that would be a great song for me to record because we run this horse rescue. And lo and behold, we took Broken, and I went into the studio with a great band, and we kind of put a spin on. When he gave it to me, it was more just him singing on acoustic guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And we made it that big kind of epic, kind of thing. We put a lot more beef into it, and I did all my own harmonies, that kind of thing.
You sure did. What a great song, and well produced,
Thank
as
you.
Barry said. Yeah, good for you. And let's take this opportunity to tell the people where they can find your stuff, purchase your music, maybe swag, merchandise. Just let people, and then I want to talk to you about Just Heart, because you guys are fabulous in that band. Go ahead and tell the people where they can listen to your stuff and find your stuff.
Okay, well, you can find me on YouTube, and so we have a YouTube channel, kind of music channel, or you can find me on my website, which is ValerieShearman.com, and there's a whole website and all kinds of, I've got even a French side as well. There's all the story about Buzz. Everything is in there. There's a lot of kind of neat stuff, a lot of neat pages. There's pictures. There's everything. My bio is on there as well. So just ValerieShearman.com. Or you can go to my Facebook, which is just Valerie Shearman on my Facebook, and I've got all kinds of stuff there. I have an Instagram, and you can also find me on Spotify. All my music is on Spotify. That album, That Broken, is on.
Yep.
So, you can find me out there. You just type my name, and you'll see tons of stuff of me.
Absolutely.
And way too long.
And that's Valerie, and Shearman is Shearman, folks. That's Shearman. There's an A in there. So I want to talk about Just Heart now, because what a fabulous band. But let me read you an email from James S. James asks, is Valerie Ann or Nancy Wilson in the Heart Tribute Band?
Well, I should ask him to guess.
I already know, but I won't say anything.
Oh, okay. Well, if you've got him on the line, just say, what do you think she would be better at, the Ann or the Nancy?
It was an email.
Oh, it's an email. Okay. So I am the Ann. I do the Ann. I've got the dark hair and the whole look for the Ann, too. So you got to have a look for it, too. So,
absolutely.
But yeah, I do the Ann Wilson.
Yep.
I've had, go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry. No, go ahead, Valerie. I'm sorry.
I've had 3 different Nancy Wilsons, but the one I have currently, she is just a sweetheart, and she plays Nancy Wilson to the T. So
let's talk about before COVID hit. Were you with Just Heart, your band, and were you touring and had to pack everything up and go home? I'm always interested to know and ask the artists what they were doing. There's some amazing stories, how they were in the middle of a tour and they had to pack up and go home. How about you?
Yeah, you know what? We were just starting our tour. We were starting in February.
Oh, damn.
That February the 14th, we played in Ottawa at a brewing company in Ottawa, and we had just packed the place, and we're coming home, and we heard about, that the government was closing everything down, and we thought, what? We had just got our P2s to do our U.S. tour, so all that had to be, canceled. All our other Canadian shows were all canceled, so we really lost big time. It was terrible. It was nice that the union, the Toronto Musicians Union, were so kind to allow us to kind of move our union dues forward, because we'd be losing all that as well, because we had to pay our union dues. So we lost quite a bit, last February before.
You and so many other artists as well. I want to talk about how you formed Just Heart, and how hard it must be to find people to fit the roles of the whole band.
Well, you know what? I was playing in a cover band, just a cover band, before that, and a couple people, a man and his wife, approached me because I did one Heart song back then in my show, which was Barracuda. And they really liked what I did, and they asked me, look, we're trying to put together a tribute show to Heart. And I said, oh boy, I don't know if I can do all those songs. I said, Ann Wilson's like that's a lot of work for that stuff like that. But I decided to take it on, and they covered everything. So all I had to do is show up and start practicing. So they had put together a band back there for me. I never chose those musicians in the beginning. But what happened in the end, like in the very beginning, when I was singing the Ann Wilson, I couldn't really sing them in those keys because she sings way up there. So we tuned the guitars down, semitone, They do,
Yep.
tune them down, A430 or whatever it is. So we started out like that, but it just didn't have the same edge. So it took me time because I've been playing in Just Heart for 9 years now. But for the first year, I said, I'm not going to do this and go out there without learning it in the proper keys. So I decided to just practice in the regular keys. And before long, it was nothing. I could sing them in those keys, no problem. But in the very beginning, I really couldn't. It was really hard. It's not an easy gig to learn. So I just took my time and took a good year to, turn it more into a craft and really sing exactly like Ann Wilson and learn the songs just like the record. So we play the songs just like the record. The timings are all the same. Everything's the same. In fact, we have the same keyboard sounds from Heart. Like they got the actual same samples as Heart. So all the
Amazing.
songs that you'll hear, when you come out to see our show, they're all the original studio recorded sounds of Heart in the keyboards.
That's fabulous.
The rest is all done by, the guys had to learn exactly, how to play. And they did really good. So we've had a few different groups of guys come and go. But this group of guys have really stuck with me. Actually, I have 2 drummers. I have 2 bass players. I have 3 guitar players, but there's only one me and Nancy.
Right. And not an easy task to sing like Ann Wilson.
No.
Jeez,
Like I said, I had to
like,
really go to had to study, right?
I can't imagine how much work you had to put into being like Ann. I mean, she just has such an incredible voice.
Oh, yeah. And I'm telling you, I just had to sit with the headphones on and just go over and over and over it again. And it's not an easy gig, but I learned it. It's been 9 years. Now it's really easy for me, unless we learn a new song. Like we're going to add a couple more this year, so I have to really study them. But all the songs that we have in the show, we've had the same songs. They're all the radio hits from over the years for Ann and Nancy Wilson. We don't play any of the other stuff, only the radio hits.
Perfect.
Only
Good for you.
Really, yeah. So people remember all the songs that we play. And of course, they hold out to the very end where we play Barracuda. So it's kind of neat.
Is that your encore song?
Well, no, actually we play it at the end of the show. But yeah, we always come back and sometimes we'll hold off and I'll do like Crazy on You and then we'll say thank you, good night, then we'll come back with Barracuda. You're right. So yeah, we do different things. Every show is a little bit different. It depends on the length of the show. We might have to break up the set or what we have to do. So it's a little bit different all the time. But it's a good show. Like I said, we only do the radio hits.
Yep, for sure. No, I mean, what a tough act to follow. To be able to get out and do a Heart tribute band, tough act to follow. You really have to work hard at that to be anywhere close to them because, like I say, they're so talented and what a voice Ann has, and Nancy's a fabulous guitar player. I just want you to I want to read an email here. Hi, from Doug Robertson. He wants to say hi to Valerie. Doug Robertson. Doug has a band called Roller Coaster, who I went out on the weekend and saw. Mike Hayes, Greg Thompson, and Jell Ritchie playing, DeChamps Ritchie playing drums and singing, and Doug Robertson, just the 4 of them, and what a killer band they are. So he just emailed to say hi.
Oh, yeah. Hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I think I recognize the name of that band for some reason. Maybe I've seen them on Facebook or something. Yeah,
you probably have. But, the reason why they're so good like you is because of the years of experience they all have. They carry their own gear around. They do their own PA. They do their own lights. And just because they've been playing for so many years, it just comes natural to them. I know Greg was a country guitar player, and now he jumped into this classic rock band, and he did a fabulous job. So cahoots to Roller Coaster. Looking forward to seeing them again.
All right.
Absolutely.
Sure. It's funny that you say that. I want to just mention one thing. The thing is, I
Sure.
went and bought all this fancy PA stuff, and I could understand what those guys are going through. And then once I get into a tribute, you don't have to buy PA anymore. Like everywhere I go, there's a PA system, sound guys. So that was the nice part of becoming a tribute act. Is
You gotta love that.
That stuff. Yeah, I don't have to worry. So I sold all the PA stuff.
Good for you. That's great.
Yeah, it's nice to do that.
Yeah, and so now, have you played any live gigs recently since, everything's kind of, I say that very hastily, of getting back to normal with everyone getting vaccinated and whatnot. Have you played some gigs recently?
Yeah, we did Fort Erie, Shirkston Shores. It's a big concert we did. About 2,000 people showed up down near Niagara Falls. And we did great. It was like a campground, it's like a vacationing spot. So we played there, and the show went great. That was our first show back, actually, first outdoor event. And then we played in Hamilton a couple weekends ago, and we had a great time there. Hamilton was fantastic. We had a great time there. And then, so we've got, like I said, Ottawa coming up after Christmas. So we're back. We're going back to the show we did the last show too, So when we were in Ottawa the last time doing the Valentine's show. So we're going to go back to the brewery again. Right. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're starting back up again. We're getting some U.S. stuff. We're getting some theaters. We have some more casinos we'll be going back to again. So they're all for 2022, you see. So, and our summer's starting to book up already. I'd like to get my own show out there more, but of course, Just Heart kind of moves ahead. It gets booked a little bit more than I do.
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. Hey, it keeps you fresh. It keeps you practicing. It keeps you playing live, and there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. I mean, I haven't got out actually to see you guys yet, but I'm looking forward to coming out and seeing you. I know that it takes a lot of hard work to be a tribute band, that's for sure. So kudos to you for that. Why don't we, Val, play your next song that we're going to play this evening, and then we'll come back and talk about that a bit.
Sure. Okay. That one I did with Earl Johnson from Moxie.
Okay, well, I want to discuss all that about you. It's amazing that you're still in touch with the Moxie guys. That is just just fabulous that you're still recording and you're doing stuff with them, working with them. So that's great. So let's play this tune, and this one's called, folks, "Try With Me." I have Valerie Shearman on the show, and we're going to listen to her song "Try With Me" right here on this House of Musicians radio show on Reality Radio 101.
You're on the cover of a magazine 'cause you think that you could dance to Billie Jean. Oh, don't you get so excited. No. You make a launch to a superstar, so no matter where the travels take you so want too much light. I gotta get the next pictures just right. Who do you think of when you're taking the next frame? Just try with me. I'll make you feel the love, feel the love, feel the love. Just try with me. You will never, never find a better heart. Try me. Won't you try? With me? Feel love. Oh, won't you try with me? Won't you try?
Hey, welcome back, folks. I have the very talented Valerie Shearman on the show this evening. We just heard her song, Try With Me. Valerie, tell me all about that song.
Well, it's really funny because Earl and I were going to do a song together, so we got together in the studio. We were just jamming, and he was just doing all kinds of stuff, and I liked what he did when he left, and I thought, I think I could write a song around that, and that's exactly what I did. I wrote that song around what Earl had actually played because we were trying to put something together, and I wanted something a little bit kind of like rootsy, but yet, a little bit more today. And so I kind of came up with that kind of a crossover kind of an idea. And it's about a girl that falls in love with a guitar player, of course you can hear in the lyrics. So it was just fun. And, I kind of playing with it in the studio, and then we listened back and went, wait, it doesn't sound too bad. So that's how that song came about, and that was on my last album. And so Try With Me. But
yeah, absolutely.
I built it around his solo,
Great song. Love the feel of the song. It's wonderfully done. I want to talk about with you your debut. Let's go back a little bit. We'll talk about your debut album. You had a single called "This Kind of Guy," and it appeared on the soundtrack of the 1996 thriller movie, The Donor, starring Jeff Wincott, of former shows Night Heat. How cool is that? Tell me about that.
Well, that was really weird. That was when I was in my country rock band back then. I was touring with a kind of rocky country band, right? And because I hired actually a rock band to play country music, so we did everything like Shania Twain, we did George Jones, we did everything. We did all the country rocky songs. So in any case, we used to go play all the the after hours clubs downtown Toronto.
Like the Matador? Did you ever do the Matador?
Yeah,
I remember playing the Soho from 9 to 1 at Kennedy and Eglinton, and then packing up my car with the gear and going down to the Matador and playing from 2 to 5. Those were fun days.
Yeah, because nobody ever wanted to, after the show, we go, still all that energy, go, come on, let's go on out and let's go have some drinks, let's jam. And so we'd end up at the Matador, and there's all these people there, like it's packed, right? And so it's 3 in the morning or something, like, you come in 3 in the morning, you just finished a gig, but everybody brought their guitars and hung out. And so I was jamming, and I even can't remember who it was with, really, the Tinettis or something. Anyway, Steve Fox was the lead singer of the band. Anyhow, there was a couple of producers that were in the audience, and I got up and kind of let them jam This Kind of Guy. I just had it written, and they're really good musicians. It was really easy. It's like 3-4 chords, and they just followed me on the guitar, and they said, "Oh, we really like that. Did you record that after we performed?" And I said, "Yeah, actually, I've recorded on my album." He says, "Do you have an album done?" I said, "Yeah, that's one of my songs off my album. It's called This Kind of Guy." And he said, "Oh, it'll be perfect in our movie." And I said, oh, really? I thought
Amazing.
they were kidding me, but they were serious. And they said, we want to use that song as a title song. It's perfect for him because he's like that macho guy. He's this kind of guy. And so, yeah, we found ourselves actually playing in the movie, too, in the background.
That's killer.
Yeah, they used that. That was actually one of, and actually that was City TV that shot the video. This was after we had done the movie.
Right.
And then they used the clips from the movie to put in the video. So the guys in City TV actually videotaped that. Kind of cool.
Good for you. What a highlight though to be approached to have a song in a movie. Good for you, Valerie. I am going to have to watch the movie now. You know that, eh?
Yeah. It's actually it's a true story. Actually.
Oh, good.
People
good.
like isn't that we're being stolen or something like that. It's a cool movie, and he's a detective.
I'm going to I'll probably watch that when we get off the air here. That's just amazing. Valerie, I love to ask my artists. Tell me the artists that come on the show, tell me a crazy story that's happened to you on a tour bus, on stage, in another country touring, just anything at all, something crazy that's happened to you.
Okay, well, I've got one right away. And it's even in a video, and the manager of Just Heart always puts it out on Facebook every now and then. We were playing a theater in Pembroke. It's just outside of Ottawa, and it was called Festival Halls. We did this big Just Heart show, and he said to me after, before I went on, he said, make sure you go out in the audience and go down the stairs, because there's about 4 or 5 stairs that go down in front of the stage, and go sing to the audience. And I went, well, okay, I guess that's okay. Anyway, I had these big ass boots on, these high, poppers, and so I can't remember what song I was doing. But anyway, I walked down to the audience, and on the last step, my heel caught the stair, and I fell forward. Could you imagine seeing me fall forward, and all like 600 people? You could hear them all in the theater go, oh, all together. And then I fell down, then I jumped right back up. I went, I'm okay.
I'm okay.
I'm okay. And we videotaped it. You can actually see it in the video, and it's really funny. So they made a GIF out of it, and they kept rewinding it back and forth, like
cool.
How you do those funny GIFs, falling down and getting back up. Anyway, so that's about the weirdest thing that happened. I almost fell right into the audience.
Wow.
But, I mean,
well,
if you call that a story, that's pretty weird.
The good thing is you weren't hurt, and so many artists have fallen off the stage or something like, similar to that. Yeah. So the good thing is you weren't hurt, so that's good.
And we didn't stop the song. The song kept going.
Yeah,
the band
absolutely.
kept playing. You can see their shocked faces. They're going, ah.
I bet.
Kind of weird, right?
I bet they were worried, too, for a little bit there, the band.
Yeah. And then the other thing was after a gig, I went to the wrong hotel, and I got lost. I thought it was in the right hotel. It was like the Outer Limits or something. It was like really weird. It looked identical to the place that I was, but it was down the street from the Comfort Inn, and I walked in the wrong place, and I said, can I get my key, please? They go, sorry, you're not booked here. I went, I am so, and I was arguing with the guy. Yes, I am, but no, you're not. There's no room with your name on. And I was shocked. I looking around going, this is very strange. It was like the same lobby, same parking lot. It looked very similar, but I was in the wrong hotel. It was down the street. Anyway, there's little things like that happen, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to ask you quickly about your writing process. For me, I might play some chords on a guitar and record them on my phone, come back to them later, and make songs out of them if I still like them down the road. What's your creative writing process like? How do you write songs?
Well, sometimes I'll do a song on guitar, and I'll get a riff going on the guitar, and then after I'll write words to it. Like I'm writing my new album, and one of the songs I do with Earl is called 7 Years to Say Goodbye. It's about Buzz. And so I wrote the lyrics to this one first. And Earl's going to take Moxie, and they're going to record the song. And then I'll come and sing it. So sometimes I'll do it backwards. I'll do the music first and then do the lyrics. It depends on how the feel goes. You know what I mean? It just kind of hits you. Whether you're going to play the guitar first or do the lyrics, we'll write the story and then do that later. So I do both. I don't really settle on one or the other, but I also co-write a lot. So it depends on who's coming up with what I co-write. Like right now, this album, I'm doing a lot of co-writes with 2-3 different writers. Some are just one other writer. And so I'm co-writes. I do. They might have something going on, and then I'll write lyrics to it, that kind of thing.
Yep.
So that's what I'm doing with this album more of, instead of writing the songs on my own. There's a lot of co-writing.
Good for you. So you're working on an album now, then?
Yeah, I am. I don't have the name of the album yet, but I'm actually co-writing with an artist by the name of Errol Starr. When I was at A&M Records, he was one of our artists, and he did a song called Angel. If you go on YouTube and type in Errol Starr, Starr, and the song Angel, he's like Michael Jackson. But
amazing.
Back then, he's a really good singer. So we're writing a song together. We've recorded it already, and it's called Once Upon a Time, and it's a duet. And it's an old kind of like a love song, but it's kind of like rocky poppy. It's got a little bit of R&B feel to it too as well. But it's definitely like a cinematic kind of song, right? Duet, like Kenny and Dolly kind of thing, right? And then the other songs I'm co-writing as well with. Do you remember a band called Broken Social Scene?
No.
Okay, they're from the '90s, and they're kind of like a real odd. You remember the girl that she sang that song 1, 2, 3, 4, you know?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, that's her band. She's backed up by a band called Broken Social Scene. Well, it happens that I know one of the main writers in the band. His name is Brennan Canning, and so we did some co-writing. And so I'm recording 2 songs that we wrote together last summer on this album. So, and he's a great writer. And so, so I'm co-writing with a bunch of different people. It's actually great. I'm co-writing with some guys in Nashville, and we do Zooms every week. We write songs with the guitars, and we do Zoom songwriting. We're writing also for TV shows and film. Good. And, also for songs for me to record. But I do all the vocals, but we write together. And so it's kind of cool writing with all these different people, But those 2, I definitely did some co-writing. And I also did a record of one of Heart's songs, What About Love? So I re-recorded it, got permission from the publishers, and it's an EDM style. It's more like kind of dancey pop.
Okay.
But it's a little different. But I thought, everybody kept saying, why don't you redo one of the Heart songs? I go, well, how do you redo something that's amazing? You can't. Mm-hmm. You just can't do it. You make it different style. So I did a different style, that's all. But it sounds kind of cool. Can't wait for you all to hear it. It'll be on as an extra song on the album, right?
Good for you. I'm just happy that you're still active. I've known you for many, many years now. Of course, with your life gets in the way and we lost contact or whatnot. So it's amazing to hook back up with you and have you on the show. Before we go, Valerie, there's a segment of the show I like to do called, well, Gary LaBar, what do you think?
I'll tell you what I think. I'm in love. I told you that. You know what? I love the song Try With Me. I love the moving bass line. It reminded me a lot about No Doubt, how they have a lot of moving bass stuff. And also the band Sublime, which is more of a modern rock band, alternative band. I love that, but I love your music. It's very melodic. It's very commercial. It's very easy to follow. Beautiful harmonies, beautiful vocals. I'm a fan now. So I just wanted to let you know that.
Thank
and
you.
I wish you the best in
Great.
everything you do in this point forward.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, Gary. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed doing music. That's the love of my life. That's the drug of my life is my music,
Sure.
I love it, and I'll do it till they say, Val, okay, it's time to take the saddle off the horse. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Well, that won't be for a long time yet, Val. So
thank you.
I want to thank you. It's an honor to have you on the show. I know you've been in the business for such a long time and you're a professional. So I want to thank you for coming on our show. I want to follow your progress, and I can't wait for your next album, and then down the road get you back on the show again. That would be an honor to have you back on. Valerie, thank you so much for doing the show. It's much appreciated.
Thank you very much. It'd be great to see you and hear you guys again, okay?
And you will. Thank you so much. And to the listener, I say thank you for being here. Always dance and sing, and let the music bring your soul to the surface for all the world to see. Until next time, have a shuffle your feet kind of week, and good night. You've been listening to This House of Musicians on Reality Radio 101.